Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is once again time. It's time that we dive into the Paranormal Portal once again. I'm your host and the creator of the Paranormal Portal, Brent Thomas. Welcome, everybody. Glad you guys are here. And so thrilled to see all these friendly faces coming in every night. Every night we do these shows. Hello, Isaac, Rachel, Jim Gwynn is here. John Stevenson, John Temperin, Mar Stahl. How you doing, Mar Stahl? Good to see ya. Portal Mom. My mom is here. So mind your P's and Q's. That's all I'm saying. Because she will put you in a corner. Time out. Nah, she's a loving soul. And let's see who else. Rachel Gets It Right is here, of course. Annie Manuel is here. Grumpy Owl. I am here. I'm just scrolling up through the chat to see what names are popping up. It goes so quickly, and that is a great thing. Oh, RU is here. How you doing, RU? Wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for stopping in and being a part of the journey tonight. I don't know if this is your first show or if this is you've been here before, but in any case, it's wonderful to say hello to you. And hopefully you like it so much that you subscribe and just become a part of this. That would be really cool. We always love to see new people become a part of what we're doing. We have a great community. I can't take any credit for that. You guys have created this amazing atmosphere all on your own. But all I do is turn on a microphone and a camera and start yapping, and you guys have created this home. So thank you all for that. I really, 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 truly do appreciate it. What's ISY? Annie saying hi, Issy. Issy, ISY. I see you, or what is that? I don't know. I don't know what ISY is. But anyway, good to see you, whoever you're talking to. Yeah, it's really neat to see new names. Aggravated Progressive just popped in. Good to see you. Over in Rumble, we've got Taipan and myself so far. That's all that's talking anyway. And thank you, John. I was just getting to that. I just want to say a heartfelt and loving message to all of y'all out there, especially all you moms. We all love our moms, and I'm so thrilled that my mom is here with me tonight because unfortunately I'm very geographically displaced from my mom. But it's nice that we can connect every time I do live streams whenever she's able to. And she's here. So happy Mother's Day to you, Mom. I love you very much. Thank you for all that I am, and thank you for all the good things that I am, because they came from you. I really appreciate all your love and all your incredible support and caring and tenderness, and for making me. Thanks for making me, Mom. I'm here. If without you, there wouldn't be a portal. I'm just saying. So you did this right. Well, not that the portal's the greatest thing ever, but it's the greatest thing in my world. One of the greatest things, along with family and all of that. But I love it. And so I just want to say happy Mother's Day, Mom. You are an amazing woman, and I love you and miss you dearly. And I wish I could be there with you tomorrow on Mother's Day. But I'm always with you, and you're always with me because we're connected. I don't think the umbilical cord ever got cut, really. Just, there's a spiritual one that still extends across the map. So, hello, Justin Goodearth. Good to see you, brother. Justin Goodearth just popped in over on Rumble. And I'm not sure what's going on in Twitch. Yeah, looks like just me so far. But I'm sure there'll be some others watching. Anyway. Got two other maybe mothers stopping in on the Ghost Radar. Happy Mother's Day to you guys. It's actually not Mother's Day till tomorrow here, but I know we're kind of a global community, and this is the last show before Mother's Day, and that's why Jimmy's not here tonight. He's celebrating Mother's Day with his family right now as we speak, as a matter of fact. So, happy Mother's Day to Jimmy and family, and to everybody. All of you guys out there, whether you're a mom or not, I think we all step into parenting roles in our lives, and we serve as, mentors and guides, and offer love and supports to people, which is a very motherly thing. So, anyway, happy Mother's Day, everybody. That's in a very convoluted and messy way. That's what I wanted to say. I just end up babbling too much. So it's just you guys and me. You guys are my co-host tonight. So if you have things you want to share, talk about, try to put them in all capital letters if you would. I need all the help I can get zeroing in on the chat. So the big letters are like, whoa. And that helps me. Other than that, I don't know any other way you can get in touch with me throughout the course of the show. We don't have phones. We haven't had phones for quite some time now. They were tied with the internet radio station that launched the Paranormal Portal, which is Truth Frequency Radio. And right now they're down. So I'm not sure if they're coming back or what they're going to do, but that's where the phone lines were tied through. And since they're no longer there, it's gone by the wayside, and it's not an expense that I think is important right now. I miss the ability that people could call in when they chose to, but just again, the volume of calls we got was very sketchy, unless it was a Deb night. Deb nights were off the charts. When Deb was doing readings, we'd get calls all night long, and I turned into a receptionist, which is great. I just love that we were able to do those shows. But since the rest of the shows, it was real spotty whenever we get calls. So it's not an expense we need to encumber right now here on the portals. Maybe we'll look into that at some point in the future. But right now, yeah, my neighbors are yelling. Never good. I'm sorry, aggravated. That's tough. I've lived near neighbors like that, and it always keeps you on edge because you just never know. How far is it going tonight? And there's some crazy stuff. I like Sam Squanch stories. Well, we'll get to those in the cryptid corner, aggravated progressive. So you came to the right place. That's all I'm going to say. So we'll get into that. Hi, Chris Jarvis. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Chris Jarvis is old-time friend of the show. We haven't seen him in ages, but every once in a while he stops in. So good to see you, man. And Sam C. just stopped in as well. Good to see you, Sam. Thanks for coming in. Hi, Just Insane and Rachel. I'm trying to learn how to tag y'all. Well, usually start with a spray paint can. No, I'm just kidding. Not that kind of tagging, I guess is not where you're going with it. I just realized I got a sliver between my two top knuckles on my hand. I don't know how I managed that, but it's crazy. Went out in the forest today. It was really a beautiful day out in the forest. We're looking for mushrooms, but we found only one baby morel. One baby one, just a baby one. But I still love getting to the forest anyway. It's really kind of a recharge and being out in all that natural beauty. It was really something. I can't show you. I took a video of it, but it's on my phone, which is currently being used. So we can't use that. But yeah, I did like getting out there. Hope you guys have enjoyed the weather wherever you're at. Hope the weather's been nice, but we're going to get to the news. I've got a few news stories to do, and then we're going to get to the Discord question of the week. And what that is our Discord community is wonderful. The link is in the description, the show description, wherever you're watching. Just look down into the show notes there, and you'll see the Discord link. It's free to join. Discord is awkward for some people just because it's a different program, but once you learn how to use it, and it's really not hard to learn how to use it. It's really, once you figure out where to do things, it's very easy. So we'd love to have you join. We'd love to have you join. And what the Discord question of the week is it's an opportunity for us to pose a paranormal question to our community members just to see what you guys have to say about it. And it could be about cryptids. It could be about ghosts, UFOs, strange phenomena, and everything else in between. But we just like to get your feedback on things because there isn't any wrong answer. So we'll get into the Discord question of the week. And then we will, that's Wes Germer saying, there isn't any wrong answers. And he's right, because we just don't know anything about this stuff. We have a lot of ideas and speculation, but we don't know. If there's some Sasquatch stories, if anybody ever plays around with their Google Maps. Honestly, there's some Sasquatch stories. Yeah, well, I'm sure there is. Does Google Maps have Sasquatch stories? Actually, Sam Squatch or something. Sketch. I don't know. I don't think it does it? Anyway, I'll buy all the magic mushrooms you can find. Yeah, I didn't find any of those either. It was just, I don't know. It's been a weird spring, so I don't know if it's screwed up the mushroom season or not, or, maybe we're just late. It's hard to know. Hi, Wendy. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. And everyone, and I see on my chat, it gives me the actual description of the emoji that Wendy used, and everyone else uses emojis. My daughter tried to explain Discord, and I swear she was speaking in tongues or something. Well, I'll tell you what, Jem, when we get to Discord, we do have, I'll show you how to get to the tutorial section after you join, and just watch the videos in there. They're really basic, step-by-step, and it's really not hard. You just got to learn where to click to get to the different threads or discussion threads, and then you just type on the bottom and hit enter, and it posts it on whatever thread you're on. It's not too bad, but it does take some getting used to, so just hang in there. We'll get it all sorted. So without further ado, I guess we'll get to the news and find out what's going on in the news. Again, I got 3 stories pulled up for you. Hopefully you find them wildly entertaining, informative, and interesting, or all of the above. That'd be great, or at least one of the above. And if not, then I apologize and take it out of my check. All right, so without further delay, let's go to the news, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the news. Most trusted news, ladies and gentlemen. It is the most trusted news. At least the most trusted news on the Paranormal Portal. So we got that going for you. Welcome to the news desk, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, David Zeismer, it's time for the news. Da news. Da news. Remember the old Saturday Night Live, Da Bears? It's a play on that. That's where I was going with it. So anyway, we are going to get into some news stories now. Again, I've got 3 stories pulled up for your entertainment, and hopefully they're good ones. I never read anything on this show beforehand, so that's my excuse. And it's I honest to God, that's the truth. I don't pre-read anything. I just pull up things that I think will be interesting, and then we dive into it. So I'm cold reading all of this. I apologize in advance if I really screw up pronunciations or anything like that. It's not meant to be disrespectful in any way. It's just that I've never read it before until we're doing the show. And maybe that's a failure on my part, but I just don't have time to read everything before I actually do the shows. That's just how my schedule is. It's just erratic and absolutely schizophrenic almost. So, all right. So we're going to visit a site that we use often on the news here. In fact, almost exclusively. It's just an amazing site. And along with this and all the sites that we use throughout the course of the show, I just ask that you support these sites. You visit them, you give them traffic. Go check them out, because honestly, we only touch the very surface of what they offer on these sites, and there's so much more on every one of these sites. And no matter what you're interested in, you're going to find things that are interesting to you. So visit these sites, give them some traffic, which equals revenue. Every site, again, it costs a lot of money to host a site on the internet that gets any kind of traffic. And a lot of these sites are doing it on their own, so they need all the help they can get. If we want to keep them going, we got to do that. So please support all the sites we use throughout the course of the show. But this site is called unexplained-mysteries.com. And this sounds like a hell of a vacation destination. Probably not. Don't go there. I'm going to just say don't go there, but not necessarily the country, but this specific location, don't go there. Because, according to unexplained-mysteries.com, Costa Rica's Cave of Death kills anything that ventures inside. Why the hell would you go in there? Why would anybody go in there? If a place is called Cave of Death, it's fine. Just take a picture and go. Leave. I mean, why go in? It's not going to kill me. Yeah, they'll be digging your carcass out of there too. Yeah, I guess it's always, it's the reverse psychology. You tell somebody they shouldn't do something and they can't help themselves. They gotta. Well, if you go in there, it's called Cave of Death for a reason. And generally, it's not a good reason. So, a small, unassuming cave in Venecia, Costa Rica, has earned a reputation for proving almost immediately fatal. That's got to be some kind of gases that are escaping in there. At first glance, the cave known as Cueva de la Muerte, which is Cave of Death, of course, in Spanish, in the Spanish language might not seem particularly dangerous. Why would they name it Cueva de la Muerte then? Because it's dangerous. It is small, making it barely large enough for a human to fit inside, and there are no perilous drops, sharp stalactites, or any other obstacles that would seem to be dangerous. It's still called Cave of Death. That means something. If you tried to crawl inside, however, you might find yourself feeling a little strange. Within a few seconds, you would fall unconscious. Your breathing would stop, and you would literally die. Must be some volcanic vents or something around there. For any human visitor, the plethora of warning signs surrounding the cave's entrance, coupled with its awkwardly small size, ensures that such a fate would be highly unlikely. For small animals, though, a quick venture inside inevitably leads to an early demise. What do they mean, highly unlikely? It's called Cave of Death. Surrounding the cave's entrance, awkwardly small in size, ensures that such a fate would be highly unlikely. I don't know. Anyway, the reason for that the cave is so dangerous is that it's almost completely filled with carbon dioxide, enough to cause almost immediate unconsciousness and death. There is this is a very small cave, but it's unusual.
Bicycle.
This has nothing to do with a bicycle. The ghost box talking about a bicycle. Be your bicycle to hell right there, the Cave of Death. I don't know. I don't know what the hell that means. It said bicycle. There's one of the random words this thing spits out. Bicycle? I don't understand. All right. Anyway. So this is a very small cave, but unusual in that there's a substantial seep of carbon dioxide gas coming from a far slot in the back of the cave, said cave explorer Guy van Rentergem. Small animals will enter the cave and asphyxiate, usually in a few moments. Inevitably, the dangerous nature of the cave has made it more popular than ever. What was I saying? You tell people it's Cave of Death, they can't help themselves. They got to go in there. That's Darwinism right there, folks. That's natural selection. It's like if you're one of those people, really examine your priorities. It's made it more popular than ever, with tourists flocking to take selfies and to get as close to it as they can. Okay, well, it's just the opening there. Okay, suffice to say, if you do ever happen to find yourself at Costa Rica's Cave of Death, stay well clear. Yeah, that's a given. And then there's a video, which I'm sure is going to repeat everything we just said, so we're not going to get into that. We saw the opening of the cave. There it is. Putting a torch in there. I wonder if the torch goes out the further in it goes because it's carbon dioxide. There's not enough oxygen to keep a flame lit, and if that's the purpose of the torch. But at any rate, yeah, that's not a place to go visit. That is a place to stay the hell away from. You're welcome. That's that's my public service announcement for tonight. Let's go to the next one, and this one's kind of a follow-up story, I guess. To the Las Vegas aliens, a story that's happened, I don't know, about a year and a half ago, whenever that was, where people claimed that they had some kind of craft land in their backyard, and there was about 8 or 9 foot tall aliens wandering around. They called the police showed up, and there's some body cam footage and some oddities to the story because a lot of the body cam footage was never released, but at any rate, they claim that they saw something. So let's see what's going on here, because according to unexplained-mysteries.com, there's a new update. In the extraterrestrial files on unexplained-mysteries.com brings us this gem. Las Vegas backyard alien footage is authentic, claims experts. Now, this is the one where you see like a shadow thing coming over here. Like it's looking over the fence at the people going in, and it's got to be 8 foot or better. So, I mean, it could very well be one of those aliens still sticking around. But anyway, Let's check it out. A veteran crime scene recreation expert, recreation, has weighed in on the authenticity of the controversial video. The strangeness first began on April 30th last year when a family in Las Vegas reported that some sort of unknown object had come down from the sky and crash landed in their backyard. A short time later, one of the family phoned the police to report the incident. There's like an 8-foot person beside the object, and another one is inside us. I don't know what that means. And it has big eyes, and it's looking at us. And it's still there, he told the dispatcher at the time. They're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 foot, 10 foot. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes. I can't explain it. And a big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're human. They're 100% not human. Now the video footage captured during the incident, which allegedly shows one of the aliens lurking behind a fence as the family venture out to investigate, has been analyzed by an expert. Once you see it, you can't deny it, he told News Nation. There's no editing. That is an original video, and we tried to debunk it to see if there was something that was added to the video. And all of our results came back as it was authentic. We don't believe it's a floating head. We believe it's attached to a body, and the motion of that head from right to left is consistent with the motion that we see between the slats of the fence. It's there. It's absolutely there. A local news report showing the video and the analysis can be viewed below. Well, let's check it out. And this is, again, the update to that story. So we've been covering it on the news here. Let's see what the report has to say. Whoa, you can't hear me.
Fuzzy video on YouTube and then decide space aliens do or do not exist. And it's another thing entirely to subject those sightings to the same kind of scientific rigor that puts, say, killers in prison. Scott Roeder is that kind of skeptic. He is an evidence expert and crime scene reconstructionist with 33 years of experience and 1,500 cases to his credit.
Wow.
He's the founder of the Evidence Room, a group that assembles specialists in forensic animation, 3D modeling, and motion graphics.
Oh, that's cool. The guy knows his stuff then. That's awesome.
He took a close look at the video that was recorded by that family in Las Vegas, and he applied his technology to try to debunk it. Here he is on his YouTube channel, Crime Scene, discussing what he calls the entity in the family's backyard.
We can take a video and look at whether or not there is an artificial artifact added to it or not. And in this case, we can definitively say, to a degree of scientific certainty, that this entity, this thing in the video, is there in the physical reality in which the Kenmore family is also there. Like, this is so critical because you can clearly see through the slots in the fence that there is a leg motion moving from the right to the left side of the screen. And clearly it is behind there. So this isn't just like a head floating in space. This is a head of that is somehow that does not have full opacity, that the opacity of the head of the shadow is only at about 33% opacity versus a normal shadow, which would be at 100% opacity, or an object in the screen, which is at 100%. And this isn't anything that you did. It's just what you were able to determine, that this shadow being, or this being in the shadows, possibly creating its own shadow or smoky filter or cloaking technique, is not only cloaking itself from the people there, but cloaking itself from the camera itself, in that it's minimizing our ability to identify pixels inside of that shadow.
Again, this is an incredible thing because, and not to keep bringing up my own story, but when I saw the first UFO that I saw, and it was the saucer hovering above the trees, and many of you are familiar with that. If you're not, Go listen to my interview on Sasquatch Chronicles or any other show where I've been on. I've been asked about that, or the Believe podcast with Cade, Moya, and Oz. I've been asked many times about it, but it didn't exist in my naked vision. It only existed, I could only perceive it in night vision. And this again is demonstrating some advanced ability to not only not appear to the people there, but not even be able to fully appear on camera. And instead you get this shadowy artifact instead of an actual, three-dimensional solid creature or being, as it were. So that's incredible. Let's keep watching.
I'm joined now by UFO expert Ben Hansen. He's a former federal agent and now the host of UFO Witness on Discovery Plus.
Ben Hansen actually came, oh God, that's off screen, isn't it? I should probably maybe minimize it so you guys can see the whole thing now. Ben Hansen was the guy that actually came up into this area and did a special about UFOs and stuff around the lake here in the north of Idaho. And I didn't know that was happening because I'd have been like, Ben, I got a story for you. Because where I saw that UFO was actually up here as well.
Bay.
What did you say? It says Bay, B-A-Y, on the lake in the bay. Okay. Yeah, it was in there's been many sightings in the lake and in the bay, B-A-Y. The ghost box said Bay. That's fair enough. That's a relevant word. It's puzzling why it does that. Well, it said bicycle randomly before. Now you're on point. Good. All right, we'll see what else you got to say tonight, ghost box. Okay, let's continue with Ben Hansen and see what he's got to say.
Ben, it's great to have you on the program tonight again. So, I mean, your reaction to what, Scott Roeder did with his analytics, the shadow that you saw that was behind the fence as well as way above the fence, I guess your reaction to all of that.
Well, thanks, Ashley. Yeah, I'm excited because it took a while, I think, for anyone to get a copy of the raw video. I don't personally have it, but I'm glad that Scott has done this. I don't detect anything overt as a red flag that I would say that made me suspect that it was edited. So I concur with him on that. And it also appears that there is some sort of shadow that's present behind the slats of the fence, which he pointed out. And then you have kind of a head, it looks like, at the top of the fence. Where I kind of feel it might be a jump is people online then started to say, well, this is evidence of a cloaking creature of some sort. There is a lot going on in the video. If you look, there's 2 or 3 different light sources. And anytime you have that happening, you can have a lot of shadows from different angles. So unfortunately, we'll never have the same exact circumstance where we can go back and test it to see what might be causing a shadow effect.
There is this one aspect of it, and I'm not sure if our producers can just let the video go, but when they walk in past the gate, something startles them and they freak out. I mean, for lack of a better description, there's no way this is acting. Actors don't do it this well. Something startles them to the right and they spin around and they kind of run out and the video kind of goes, as it would if you were terrified.
It doesn't. I think
apparently the producers can't manage that because they keep showing the same loop. Hopefully the producers figure out how to manage that.
that is genuine. If you look at, I think they're looking at something towards the back of the yard and something spooks them, where I feel that it might be a little bit of, I don't know, call it forensic gymnastics, is to say that it was caused by this thing off to the right, because you can see right there, that shadow appears on top of the fence, but he's not looking to the right. If this was some sort of entity that was like 3 feet away from him, I think that's what would really scare anybody. So that's where you have these theories that people are saying, well, it's partially cloaked, it's fully cloaked, didn't want to be seen, but only the video picked it up. So I don't know about that. I think just based on the video, though, it's great that we have verification that it's not been edited.
I know you talk about confirmation bias as well. Explain to the audience how you think that might be working its way into this as an alternative theory.
Ooh, Ben Hansen's coming off as almost a skeptic. I don't know if he's doing that for notoriety because he really truly it doesn't quite buy it or what, but it's interesting.
Well, if you think about it and go back to the original, the whole background of what just preceded this is you had this really bright object that streaked across the sky, right? And I do believe that now is a meteoroid, and it may have nothing to do with the family's actual sighting. They believe they saw a light come down to their backyard. And there was a lot of light and commotion, noise. And so when they went out to the backyard, they're already adrenaline's pumping. They're hypersensitive to sights and sounds. I'm in no way suggesting that they made anything up, but perception can be skewed now that this is something out of this world we're out to see in our backyard. And then anything that might have a combination of shadows or sights they're not used to, it can be amplified in your visual perception. And that's just a suggestion, but I do feel the witnesses are being credible as far as describing what they saw. And especially look at that reaction when they see whatever it is back there and they come running out of there, and it's affected at least Angel to this day. He still has trouble with what he saw.
Thank you for watching. Go to News Nation.
Well, there you go, folks. That's the clip. At least forensically, there's no indication that anything was added post to the video in any way. I don't know what the video source is that on that. Is that a body cam or what? I don't know. Usually when there's body cam footage, you'll actually see the identifiers like the time, the actual brand of body cam, which is usually Axios on a lot of those. But I don't know where the footage is coming from on that. Is that just somebody recording with a cell phone in the TikTok up and down way? Or, why didn't they go widescreen? Why don't people go widescreen? Ugh. Anyway, yeah, because we would have gotten so much more of that figure walking in if it wasn't in TikTok mode, straight up and down. It's like, yeah, that's great if you're gonna do a makeup tutorial or something. But if you're getting evidence of something, you go widescreen. You got to give as much as you can. Get as much of a cut as you can. Don't go TikTok mode. If you're recording a UFO, if you're recording a ghost, if you're recording a Bigfoot, don't go TikTok mode. Go widescreen. Turn your phone on the side and record. I don't know why the TikTok thing is, everybody just thinks, bing, they're holding their phone up. It's like, well, thank you for that little sliver of what the hell you just watched. Just turn it to the side. Give us more. Anyway. So anyway, that's the update on that. I don't know. It's interesting. And it was a longer clip, a long shot than I thought, but it was 6 minutes, 48 seconds total. But that came from News Nation. So that's very cool. Very cool clip. I'm glad they had them on to, cover that. That's really fantastic. I should reach out to Ben Hansen. I got to get in touch with that guy. That'd be fun to have him on the show. All right. So that's that. That's that. Maybe you didn't know about it. Maybe you did know about that. Somebody said, I need an open mind about it, but I need more evidence. I keep an open mind about it. Cool Hand says. Well, are you talking about that video and that whole situation? I'll tell you, I agree. It's hard to take things on face value because there's a lot of claims out there. There's a ton of claims of fantastic things going on everywhere. And especially in this internet age where we see so many offerings of it. And usually, I will say most of the time, they're absolutely hard to believe. How many blob squatches or, pictures of leaves and stuff with circles in it have you seen? And I've seen, God, a nauseating amounts of them, and it's hard to wrap your head around. Now as bizarre as it is to think, well, a UFO crashed in somebody's backyard. Well, they got to land somewhere. I suppose if they're having troubles or if they're having issues, they don't get to choose, just like our pilots don't get to choose always where they end up hitting the ground, but they, do their best to mitigate it and hopefully be able to rectify it. But at least these people seem credible. I've heard them interviewed, the actual family members interviewed. I saw the original clips, the original police footage that was released. Again, there is some controversy because there's apparently a lot of body camera footage that never was released. What did they see? What did they capture on those body cams? They were like, nope, we're not putting this out there. Or maybe they didn't have a choice to put it out there. Maybe some agency stepped in and said, you're not putting that out there. That's not going to happen. We'll just take that, national security. Yeah, there you go. And there's nothing you can do. But just food for thought. That's the update. If anything else comes up, we'll definitely bring it to you. But there you go. That's the news as it stands. The video forensically is legit. Something was there. It was mighty tall, and it was rather shadowy. There's the bleed through again between phenomena that comes up in the UFO stuff. It comes up in the spirit stuff. It comes up in the cryptid stuff. These blurry creatures. The proverbial blurry Bigfoots. Well, maybe there's some kind of energy at work. Maybe that's why everything's blurry. Just like in this case. Maybe they can hide in plain sight. All right, let's go to the next one because we got more. There's one more. And by God, we're going to read it. This one's kind of sad. I don't know the situation. I don't think it's foul play or anything bizarre. It's just unfortunate. But this has happened in South Carolina. It's from the UFO Phenomena Files on unexplained-mysteries.com. And this story is South Carolina UFO Welcome Center has been destroyed in a fire. Aw, that's kind of tragic, isn't it? Anyway, I don't know. It looks like it was probably built out of wood, which, well, at least part of it was. It looks like they got a metal overlay there, but yeah, that's sad. The notoriously peculiar tourist attraction, which is built to host aliens travelers, not alien travelers, but aliens travelers or tourists looking for aliens, has been completely destroyed. The brainchild of Jody Pendarvis, who built the structure in his backyard in Bowman, South Carolina, the UFO Welcome Center had proven a popular curiosity for almost 30 years. The center was bizarre to say the least, consisting of a haphazard mishmash of mechanical and electronic salvage that has been fashioned into a UFO-shaped building mounted on 4 columns. Inside, it was furnished with a bed, a shower, a toilet, and even a satellite TV. Pendarvis himself wanted the structure to serve as a rest stop of sorts for visiting extraterrestrials. Okay, maybe it was meant for the aliens. Sadly, though, the idea of playing host to weary aliens was firmly put to bed when the entire structure burned to the ground in an unexplained fire on May 9th. The fire began at around 6:30 a.m. and Pendarvis has no idea what might have caused it. Might be another UFO came by and set the fire, he joked while speaking to the Post and the Courier. I can't believe it went up so quick. Whether or not Pendarvis will attempt to rebuild this unique roadside attraction remains unclear. Oh, that's sad. This is the news. Might as well check it out.
To developing news, the UFO Welcome Center in Bowman no longer stands as it was affected by fire early this morning.
News 2's Raymond Owen spoke with the man who created the center and has more details.
As you can see here behind me, the UFO Welcome Center here in Bowman has burned completely to the ground.
I was the proprietor, captain of the UFO Welcome Center right here in Bowman, South Carolina. However, as you notice behind me, it is no longer there.
Jody Pendarvis lived in a single-wide mobile home next to the UFO Welcome Center. Early this morning,
I heard the popping outside of my bedroom, and I just thought it was a storm. And whenever I looked out back and I saw the red stuff, I thought it was a fire engine at first, but I was wrong. It was kind of devastating on, in fact, it hasn't hit me yet. Terrible, devastating. And lucky for me, I threw my pants on and my shoes on and a shirt. That's all.
I love that shirt. It's skull and crossbones on that shirt. This guy is obviously pretty cool. I'd like to hang out with this guy. He sounds like fun. He's got the Area 51 shirt on. I like him already.
All I got right now, but I'm sure I'll survive.
what started the fire?
I don't know what started the fire, but Could have been one of them alien ships that might have been by early this morning. I'm not sure.
Bowman Mayor Patsy Rhett tells me they don't know exactly what started the fire either. She was called at about 7:15 this morning with news of the fire. She said it took quite a while to get the fire put out. The Welcome Center and the single wide are gone.
Well, to tell you the truth, the UFO Welcome Center started with my grandfather's house being burnt down the road, and I started building it the very next day.
That was decades ago. He used whatever wood he could find and kept building a place for UFOs to land if they decided to visit him in Bowman.
It got started with a fire and it ended with a fire. That's kind of rough, but the UFO Welcome Center just got started on its own, whether it was from alien encounters or not.
In spite of this tragedy, Pendarvis still has his sense of humor.
Let us all have a great day, and let's watch the skies. Like that one right up. Or is it over there?
This fire is still under investigation. In Bowman, I'm Raymond Owens.
That's cool. I mean, that's sad, of course, but he seems like a neat guy. I don't suspect he'll probably try to start over. He looked like, he's got a few miles on the tires, probably doesn't want to take on a big project like that again, but God bless him. That's really cool, and that's really unfortunate. But there you have it, folks. It was a kind of a landmark for a lot of years, and definitely got people talking, so that's a good thing. So unfortunately, it's no longer there. There's no longer a UFO Welcome Center, but at least there was one. Let's look at the glass being half full, shall we? This has been the news, ladies and gentlemen, so I guess we're going to get back to the rest of the show and see what else we can stir up before we're done. So let's get to it. Yeah, he seemed to be taking it pretty well. I mean, all things considered, I guess God only knows what that man has seen in his life. He said U.S. or Vietnam vet, so God only knows. But at least he seems like a really neat person, and what a neat idea. I don't know. You got to love people like that just they have a vision and they just do their vision. They don't really care what people think. They just do their thing. I really respect that. I really do. I think that's a very powerful statement as an individual to say, well, I don't care if it's cool or not. I'm going to do it. I like it. So it doesn't always work out, but, it did for a lot of years. 30 years, that's a long time. I dig this dude. Hope it gets rebuilt. That'd be neat if it did, yeah. Maybe the community will kind of rally around and help them rebuild it. Who knows? But, yeah, that's... Unknown says, if I was rich, I'd give him the money to rebuild. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I would too. I would, go over there and try to help as well. But, unfortunately, all we can do is hope that somebody will step in and do what they can for the guy. Even make it better. Why not? I don't know. I didn't understand, though. Did he lose his house too? Did he live in the single wide trailer? Was that the thing? Or did he just watch it from his house, which wasn't right next to the trailer in the UFO Center? I don't know. At any rate, it's a tragic story, but, I do like that guy's spirit. That's just really cool. So, all right, folks, we're going to get to the next part of our adventure tonight, and this, again, is heading into the Discord question of the week. I love this segment a lot because it gives us a chance to, just to hear what you guys think. Hear what you think about all this weirdness we talk about, again, throughout the course of the shows. You know what I think, at least you know what I'm thinking at the time when I'm talking. But I often have wondered for a long time, what do you guys think? What do you guys believe is going on with this stuff? And I haven't really, before this, ever posed that question to you guys. So I love this segment because it gives us a little window into other viewpoints. And you guys are brilliant. You guys are absolutely brilliant. UB Kroll. UB Kroll, he definitely seems like a war vet who used it as a healthy coping mechanism. It's neat that it was a tourist attraction. Yeah, it really is. It took his trailer out too. Oh, poor guy. Well, I hope he's okay. I mean, I don't know exactly when it happened. It sounded like it was very new news, so hopefully he's got family or someone that's stepping in and helping to take care of him. I'm sure he must. I guess all you can do is hope. But yeah, if anybody finds out any more, if there's some kind of GoFundMe for him, I will post it on the show. If you guys find any information like that, because of course, the poor guy lost everything. I don't know if he had insurance or not. I will tell you this. I used to think, well, yeah, I got insurance. It'll be fine. I've known people, and this wasn't too long ago, just a handful of years ago, that had a house fire. They didn't lose the whole house, but they lost a good section of the inside of their house because of a furnace issue. They were they went on a family trip, and as they were gone, a fire broke out in their furnace room, and it burned a significant section of their home. They were well insured. But I'm here to tell you, they had to battle for years, including having to put all of the construction stuff on hold, and live, as best they could, in a damaged home that needed to be rebuilt in significant sections. And with the insurance company was challenging them because they were on a trip, that was a big red flag to the investigators. And it's like, what the hell? Now, these are good people. These are not, people that pull in shenanigans. But it was just like, my God, they had to fight literally for years to get their insurance money to be able to reconstruct what had been damaged in the fire. So, my God, insurance isn't just the answer. It's not this magic wand. Now, I will say that most insurance companies, I don't know. Every time I've had to deal with insurance companies, which isn't a bunch, but I've a few times, and it's been a decent experience. I've not had, to crawl through broken glass to get something done. They seemed real accommodating, although I've never, had a house fire or anything like that. But It's not the magic wand. You may have to fight your own insurance company. So that's pretty crazy. Damn, insurance costs suck. John Deppert says, yeah. Insurance isn't an instant cure, UB Kroll says. Yeah, and it's nice to meet you, UB Kroll. That's cool. I'm glad you stopped in, and hopefully you subscribe, become part of the family, brother. Or sister. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. I shouldn't assume that, but it just came out. So if you're a guy, then good. If you're not, I apologize. Insurance companies like to collect, but they hate to pay out, especially car insurance, which you need by law. Yeah, I'm with you, the unknown. Yeah. You got to have everything insured. All right, let's continue and get to the Discord question of the week. There's some Mother's Day greetings here in the general tab. Let's go to that now. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it's time for... There we go. Time for the question of the week, folks. Okay, so this is the Discord question of the week, and on the screen is the Discord. Now, when you first join, this is what it looks like. You'll be in the general tab here. Here's the Paranormal Portal. This is the list of servers that I currently belong to on Discord. There's Hometown Ghost Stories, wonderful guys. Love those guys. They're over here. Yowie Central, Sarah Bignell's group, Cade Moya's Believe podcast. That's all great stuff. ZX Arcade is over here. A few good Spartans. Those are friends of mine. And so, yeah, this is Discord. So when you type in the invite link that is in the description, it'll bring you, if you have Discord, it'll bring you right here. This will be what you'll see. And here is just all the different threads you can talk in. So there's news, there's donations, if you so choose. There's rules. There's admins and mods, but here's the Portal Marketplace. This is where you can find the shirts and stuff, the Paranormal Portal shirts, and other things that other members are selling. And if you're a creator of any kind and you want to offer things that you make for sale, please use the marketplace. Go ahead and post in there. And if you need another thread made that, because all we have right now is apparel, crystals, and jewelry, and then miscellaneous. So if there's a specific thing that you make that's not being covered by those, then let us know and we'll create a thread for that. That's not a problem. Here's the discussion parts. There's the giveaways when we do t-shirt giveaways, which I have to hurry up and get done for May here. There's the Discord tutorial, and this is what I was talking about. So on this left panel, these are the different discussions. If you just click on Discord tutorial, you'll see, and then use your mouse wheel, the wheel on your mouse in the middle between the left and right buttons. These are all different videos that teach you how to use Discord. Just click them and let it walk you through what you're doing, how to do it. And it's really pretty simple, honestly. Discord is not as awkward as it appears at first. It's just like moving into a new town. When you move into a new town, the grocery store is not where it was in your old town. The post office is not where it was in your old town. So you just got to figure out where things are. Once you know, then you can go about your daily life. And it's very much the same for software. So don't let new software intimidate you. A lot of the same functions are there as on Facebook or Messenger or anything else. It's just there's different locations for it. Over here is just the members, the people that are online, and then there's offline people here as well. So that's what that is. But there's question of the week, which we'll be getting into in a moment. But there's the general tab. When you first join, you'll be brought in here, and it'll announce that you're brand new into the server. And everybody will probably send you messages saying hello. And there's episode discussion, which is like this show. If you want to have anything you wanted to share about maybe the UFO in Vegas situation or that video or whatever, you can do that in there. There's Bigfoot, Dogman, Ghost, UFO, extraterrestrial encounters, cryptids, music, which is really cool. People post their music tastes, which are really eclectic and neat. I've really found some great music through this thread. Strange phenomena, paranormal library, which is paranormal books and stuff people have read and recommending, or paranormal movies and television. So that's there. There's also voice channels, but those are very rarely ever used. So those are options, but all you have to do is just, like, say you want to talk about Bigfoot or read what other people have posted, click on Bigfoot, use your mouse wheel, scroll up and down, look at all these posts that people have made, links to videos and stuff on YouTube, check them out. And it's just the same for any of these other types. Click and go over here. When you want to say something, just click on the very bottom and type it out and then just hit enter, or go over here to where it sends it right there. So, either way, you can do it with your mouse or with your just hitting enter. But that's how you do it. That's just Discord in a nutshell. So what we're concerned with tonight is, of course, the Discord question of the week. And so I got to scroll up a little bit because Chucky Danger's been taking care of this for us. God bless that man. He's done an incredible job, and special thanks to... Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of got some almost hiccups coming, but I'm controlling them. Question of the week. Chucky, thank you very much. You're awesome, and I appreciate you taking care of this. Do you think it's possible for there to be creatures and beings to be living and hiding in light spectrums just beyond our visual ability? It's kind of poetic because it ties a lot into that's Vegas video that we just watched. That it only appeared, at least on film. We don't know if it appeared at all to the people. But the camera was able to capture at least this shadowy being. A very, very tall shadowy being, but shadowy being nonetheless. So let's see what everybody said. First up is Animal Annie. She said, the physicist I used to chill with said that energy beings were physically possible. So I assume that could include creatures not normally within our visible spectrum of light. Interestingly enough, if you follow the physics of it, all matter is energy on its most fundamental level. So in essence, we are energy. Even our bodies are energy, but it's manifest in these particles, which I think is absolutely fascinating. And so I would say that, yeah, we are energetic beings, but we are very, very deliberately in a specific part of the spectrum. That is where our home is, all the way from almost infrared to ultraviolet and a lot of what's in between, but maybe not all of it. And so we are energetic beings as well, not only in our core, but matter is energy. It's just the vibration that becomes particles. So, all right. But great take, Animal Annie. Thank you. Bad Egg Studios comes in and says, ooh, that's a good one. Yes is my answer. No deep reason, just my feeling. Yeah, fair enough. You don't always have to have a logic. It's just, what do you think? Do you think it's possible? All right, next up is Sparky's Mummy. That's a new name. Is that a rebrand or is that a new name? I don't know. I didn't see this person come in, but welcome, Sparky's Mummy. It says, yes, and sometimes whether during solar flares or other solar CME Earth defense is weakened. Then we can see, especially on peripheral, and that's what I think ghosts are. Yeah, you could be right. You could be right. I mean, there's what are ghosts is a whole huge arena of possibilities. I mean, I think we just tend to simplify it into us and then there's spirits. But I think there's a whole arena of things that we perceive as spirits. Some may be vibrationally just adjacent to us, so we can't perceive them, or only perceive them once in a great while under specific circumstances. Some may be former loved ones who don't have a body anymore but exist energetically, and therefore we can't usually perceive them in the same way. Others could be other creatures or beings that never were human, but they're out of phase with us, possibly in a frequency manner or other, resonance related thing, frequency or vibration that's out of range for our perceptual abilities. And there's so much more. So there's the esoteric energetics, there's the possible quantum energetics, there's dimensional energetics, there's, the whole multiverse ideas, and the potential of there to be possibly bridges or portals between that occur very naturally as part of the respiration or flow of reality as we know it. So, to say spirit is could mean a lot of different things. And so I just want to throw that out there, but great thoughts. Absolutely. Thank you, Sparky's Mommy. So, Utah Sam comes in and says, absolutely. For instance, pull off a piece of your hair. Take out just a regular flashlight or even just hold it up to a window to some light. Turn it around and your hair may seem like a circular stem kind of being or whatever, but it has more than 3 sides. And when you hold it up to the light, you can see it. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's more information than you needed to do your experiment, but just try it. Just pluck out a hair, spin it around, look at each of the different sides, and from what I understand, there's I don't even know what I would call anymore, because it's not extraterrestrial. It's not ultra-terrestrial. There's some technology that we can't quite understand, and I used to think because that it had to do with like a mirror image kind of thing, like if you're looking up at the sky, you would see instead of a plane or an object flying this sort of thing, you'd see like kind of a reflection. But from what I understand, you're actually seeing your view and perception to the sun, the moon, the light, the grass, the shadows, all those crazy things. Now, solar flares scares the crap out of me. CME, I'm not sure what CME means. I'm not sure. I've seen that twice now tonight. I've seen in dreams what kind of calamity that can cause. Though low ejections could certainly cause glitches, glimpses. I don't know, but I love this group. Very cool, Utah Sam. Somebody let me know what CME means. It's a new phrase. I'm not familiar with it. Here comes the unknown, and the unknown says, what I'm about to say is my opinion and mine alone, and is not necessarily the way anybody else feels about on the Paranormal Portal podcast and the Paranormal Portal YouTube channel or in the chat. Okay, it's a hell of a first disclaimer. Honestly, I think people are getting out of hand with these cryptid beings. I do believe there's something out there like Bigfoot or Dogman, or maybe even both, but every time I turn around, there seems to be some new cryptid. I think it's people trying to get their 15 minutes of fame. I really do. We need the truth about Bigfoot and Dogman. We don't need a fish man, a cat man, a snake man, deer man, bear man, worm man. Do you see where I'm going with this? Again, this is my opinion, a real man. See what I did there? LOL. So on that note, everyone have a good evening. Sure. I mean, it is hard to wrap your head around all of it. But then again, if you consider the possibility that we're in a multiverse and possibly, again, revisiting what I stated just a little bit ago, and it's not fact, it's just my theory or hypothesis, is that I think that these layers of reality overlap. And there may be things that live on these other reality layers that we're not largely aware of, but that they can become a part of our world in certain instances. And maybe that's why there is one-offs of these weird creatures and strange things that kind of come out of somewhere, like the Loveland Frogmen from Ohio, or the what the hell was it? The Flatwoods Monster was another one that seemed UFO-y, but more of a robot-y kind of thing. There's just a bunch of weird one-off things that have popped up, and it's hard to wrap your head around. Like Bigfoot, Dogman, people, there's a ton of accounts and encounters. But some of these other ones, it's just like, where the hell did that come from? Where the hell did that go? I mean, it was there. People saw it. People had experiences with it, usually terrible. But they did have experiences, and then suddenly nothing. Like it just was gone. Maybe just gone from our ability to see or perceive and its ability to interact. So it's a possibility. I'm not saying I disagree or agree with what Unknown is saying. I'm just saying maybe there is an explanation for there being other weird things that don't pop up much, but they do pop up. And can you dismiss that out of hand just because it's like, well, and here's the thing with human nature, most likely you would want to defer to, well, they just saw something strange or had an episode. And that certainly is an explanation. Not everything has to be absolutely real. It might be real to the observer, and it might actually be that they saw something real, but it might be also just something went sideways in their head. Something went sideways in their experience. Is that possible? Is there glitches in the matrix, so to speak? And I guess it's got to be possible, right? So, at any rate, very weird. Rosemary Chives puts in the folklore and supernatural phenomena map. That's really cool. Let's take a look at that. I can't really blow it up bigger than this. It's funny because, of course, the picture of Bigfoot on Washington State. In honesty, this is all Bigfoot. This is all Bigfoot except for Hawaii. But they got the Menehune and many other things down there that are, equally as bizarre. So, it's not just here's where Bigfoot is, here's where, the Thunderbird is, here's where whatever the hell that is. I think this looks like with the backward legs and kind of looking like it's walking on its back. That's, I think, largely a lot of that, you see those pictures online, and that's actually from an old B movie of that creature that's kind of crossing a road looking like it's got backward knees and it's kind of crab walking on its back, like a person would do. It is actually just a frame from an old movie. But at any rate, that's interesting. Very cool. I like that stuff. All right, Maggie comes in next, says, when I was out the other night in an area where the moon landings were supposedly tracked from here in Australia, and it has been raised now, but still shielded from light pollution, and there are seats specifically designed to stargaze. Whilst lying down looking at the sky, I noticed my vision in the peripheral was much better at picking up moving satellites that I could not see looking directly at it, and has something to do with the placement of rods and cones, yes it does, in the eyes and the sensitivity of the peripherals to be able to pick up fainter light. I do wonder if there's a similar phenomena going on as to why some people see things and others don't. I understand, I don't necessarily think anything is hiding. Perhaps as humans we are limited in perceiving all that's truly around us. EVP phenomena, for example, I don't really think all the voices picked up are just pareidolia, and so the question remains, Where do these voices come from, and are they recorded in real time from entities we are unable to perceive? The stories of DOESN goggles used during the Vietnam War are very intriguing. If true, infrared, night vision, and FLIR, etc. often pick up entities, UFOs, etc. we cannot perceive with our own eyes. Yeah, true. I just think it's highly unlikely there is more going on around us than we are able to comprehend. It's highly likely, rather. Yeah, I think so too. Animal Annie comes in response to that and says, I think it's a number of things. Night, as you already know, is better. Night, or is it night light? I don't know. As you already know, is better in our peripheral vision. That varies by person. There's also energy perception. And I think that depends on how people's brains translate it. And then again, give some people visual static and they will see things the same way we do when looking at clouds. Yeah, that's pareidolia. Sure. Yeah, there's no doubt that there is the pineal as well as, and it's called the third eye for a reason. The pineal is kind of your psychic vision, and some people may have instances where it's just more on for them, and they can perceive things that most other people can't. It's just a different kind of sight. It's kind of like with disembodied voices. It's very much an audio phenomena for people that hear it, but there's many instances of people hearing disembodied voices in a group. Like say it's a group of 4 people. 2 people will hear a loud female scream, and 2 other people hear nothing at all. So is it telepathic? Is it some other form of perception that the experiencer isn't aware they were experiencing any differently than normal sound, but to them it was a sound? Or is there something else going on? I don't know. I don't have the answer for that because I think it's potentially very subjective to try to understand. But there are many cases of people hearing a disembodied voice in a group and several other people hear nothing at all. So what's going on there? Well, it's very similar, I think. There are some people that just have things more turned on, maybe in that moment, maybe in overall, it's hard to say, but it's an interesting thing to think about. John T comes in next, says, yep, veil getting thinner. Soon we'll be one, and then the fight will be on. Yeah, you could be right, John. Taipan 007 comes in next and says, yes, I absolutely believe there's a whole other spectrum that isn't ours to see. On rare occasions, get some glimpses accidentally or for a reason left to us to figure out. Yeah, sure. There's no question that the light spectrum is much bigger than our ability to visually see light. We have a very small section. There's infrared and beyond. There's ultraviolet beyond. There's X-rays. There's so many more potential spectrums of light that we just are not equipped to perceive. So doesn't mean they're not there. Doesn't mean that things couldn't exist in those spectrums that are absolutely unexperienced by us. But it's another thing to consider. Rachel 101 comes in next and says, yes, I think it's possible. Some animals have developed the ability to almost instantly change color and texture. Others mimic objects. So why wouldn't there be life forms that evolve the ability to not be seen in our light spectrum? That's a great take, Rachel. I guess I'd never considered it. I'd always considered it to be something technological, but what if it is a function of biology, but just a biology we don't understand? What if they could? When you think about the mechanics of light, we only perceive things because light hits something and bounces off of it, is reflected off of it, and enters our optic centers. And then our brain interprets it as an object or, whatever it is. And what if it was possible for some biological being to change through biological function the mechanics of their skin so that it wouldn't reflect those spectrums of light that we could see? What if that was possible? That's really deep. That's really pretty powerful. I like the way you guys think. You guys are just incredible. So once again, this is the question of the week. This is why I love it. Special thanks again to Chucky Danger. Special thanks to all of you who weighed in on this and shared your thoughts. These are brilliant. You guys are incredible. Great insights. That's honestly the reason I love this segment so much, is because you guys have thought of things that I never would have thought of ever. There might have been, it might have been a million years before I came up with some of these. It's just incredible. That's just really cool. And that's the beauty and the strength in group think. You know, when we think about questions, when we think about possibilities, that's when it becomes incredible, because everybody has their own viewpoint and their own logics, and they apply that and come up with some amazing, amazing stuff. So thank you, everybody. That's amazing. I'm saying amazing a lot, but I really do get blown away by this segment. So let's get back to the rest of the show. I just love me some Cryptid Corner, because that's where we're heading. I do have to check one thing. I didn't do this prior to the show, but I need to do it now because I just remembered I didn't do it prior to the show. That's just how I roll, folks. Some things don't come together real well in my cognitive processes. Okay, let me do this. I had a restart today. I didn't anticipate. We had a power hiccup here, and so things. I don't usually restart my computer on during the show week. I wait till after the last show, and then we'll do restarts or updates or whatever. But I try not to let it happen during the week. Well, it happened anyway. We had a power hiccup today, and it just was like, what? That's not good. Oh, by the way, Cowboys and Sasquatch episode of Sasquatch Chronicles will be released tomorrow. So definitely check that out. I don't know if that's going to be a member show or not. I think that's his normal show. But yeah, that should be a good one. I'm going to definitely listen to that. I just wanted to see. Nope, there was nothing we missed there. I just wanted to look at Sasquatch Chronicles because I hadn't checked it before the show, because I was just trying to get everything up and running so we're good to go. Because, you know, when the restart happened, sometimes things don't work like they should. And then I had updates to deal with as well. It's like, oh, God. Welcome to my world, folks. Yeah. Some things you just can't prepare for. Happy Saturday, Portal peeps. Long weekend in Vegas. Losing my life savings, but I came back with my shirt on my back. I'm glad you had a good time, Rick. Good thing. Did you see any aliens down there? Just saying. They land in the backyards down there once in a while. Could happen. Yeah. Need a 50-gallon hat, Philip, for a cowboy, a Sasquatch cowboy. Philip says a Sasquatch would be a very big cowboy. Yep, wouldn't be a 10-gallon hat, would be a 50-gallon. It'd be a barrel. All right, Rick was hiding in the backyard. It was you, Rick. You were the shadow guy. Just checking out the chats. Good to see you, Justin, over in Rumble with Yo Holo. The aliens wanted to probe them. Oh, jeez. Yo Holo, I'm sorry I missed that earlier, but I see it now. You never know. I'm just saying they've been known to do stuff like that. That's the creepy, nightmarish version. But Rick Waggerson says, I'm scared. Rick was hiding in the backyard. I'd be scared too if I was crash landed in somebody's yard on a planet I'm not from. It's like, what should we expect next? He's serving up beer. Rick's serving up beers. How's everyone doing tonight? Doing good, David. Thanks for asking. Glad you made it. Good to see you guys. We're going to head to the Cryptid Corner, folks, because that is how we roll. And we're going to start with Phantoms and Monsters tonight. How are we doing for time? Good God. It's already 8:21. How do we get here? That went really fast. Paranormal Portal, aliens run the casinos, not the tribes or the mob. You could be right. Could be right. They're way better at math than we are, so there's no way to count those cards. Very probing questions like if an alien was Columbo. It's like it was Columbo. Yeah. Yeah. You don't want that kind of probing questions. All right. Let's get to the cryptid corner. We're going to start out with Phantoms and Monsters, Mr. Lon Strickler cites. Lots of time for overtime. The unknown. Do you know I've literally woke up at like 4 a.m. 2 nights in a row, and I just can't sleep anymore. I know I'm tired. I want to sleep more, but I can't. And then, by the time I get to the shows, I'm just like, ugh. But then I start the show and I get energized because I love doing it. And I love connecting with you guys, but I don't know what it is, man. 4 a.m. rolls around and I'm like, bing, I'm awake. I don't know why. Don't know why. But you're right. I mean, it's possible to do overtime, but I'm not sure I got fuel in the tank for overtime. That, and I'm up at 4 and then I'm marching through the mountains with the missus. Yeah, that's great for nappy times. Not at all, but it's so beautiful out there. I wish I could show you the video I took today. You guys could see. I mean, it's Squatch country up here, folks. I'm telling you, it's like you're in the middle of nowhere. And where we look for mushrooms, and again, we only found one little baby morel, so it was just it was really disappointing because it's about a 25, 30-minute drive. And then we got to go off the main highway and back on this mount. It's kind of a step above a logging road. But we go about 6 miles back into the mountains from the main road and to this little, it's an established campsite. It's got a little, I can't say it's a porta potty. It's like a potty building. But up here, they don't have plumbing, obviously. So it's basically, I don't know how to do this, a poop pit. And I hate using them, but you gotta go. I didn't, roll any deuces there, but I did have to go. But yeah, so, you're up in the middle of nowhere, but it's just gorgeous up there. There's this beautiful mountain stream that's rolling by. It's called Trestle Creek. Trestle Creek. If you ever get a chance, look it up. It's a beautiful area back there. But we were looking for mushrooms, and apparently we're either early or late, probably late, but it's hard to gauge when they're going to pop. So anyway, definitely Squatch territory in northern Idaho. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. Mountains or melted buildings? What's melted buildings? I don't know what the reference for melted buildings is. It's mountains up here. If a hairy host turns up on Wednesday, then we'll know Brent was substituted, not by Don either. There can be only one. I'm like the Highlander of the portal. I'll always be here. If there's a show, you can count on me. Those poop stations attract tourists. Oh my God. I don't know that. I don't know if it attracts tourists, but I don't know. What is that? What is that app? Randonautica? I think it could probably attract Randonautica people. I will tell you one thing though that was kind of cool. And it's just a stupid side note. It doesn't really have any balance or value to the show, but I thought this was neat because we were walking in this area about 2 years ago or 3 years ago and checking for mushrooms later in the season. And the minion said, "Hey, what's that?" And he points to this little stump. Well, in this little stump, there's like a rock on top of it. I'm like, what the hell is that? So I said, I don't know, let's find out. So I took off the rock on top and kind of opened it up. And inside was this little Tupperware thing. Turns out we stumbled on a geocache. Because apparently people do this thing called geocaching where they set up these points all over the place. And we just stumbled onto one up in the middle of the forest up there. It was really crazy, but I ended up leaving a guitar pick and, signing the thing that we were there. But it was really cool. But that was up in the Trestle Creek area. Yeah, it's just, what are the odds you just stumble on a geocache? It was it was really well hidden, but the minion saw it. He's like, "Hey, what is that?" Like, I think it's a tree stump. Then I looked again and there's a rock on top of it. Like, why is a rock on top of it? So, yeah, we stumbled on a geocache up there in the middle of the forest. So there were other people that had been there. I looked at some of the notes, the people that wrote themselves in and stuff. It was kind of neat. Got to hang sticky tourist paper around those buildings. Yeah, you don't want to. You trap the tourists that way they can't get out and wreck your environment. Sure. Yeah. All right, let's get to the cryptid corner. It's time. Let's do it. We'll start out with this. Special thanks again to Grumpy Owl for that epic intro. And special thanks to the Unknown, too. He's made a few new ones that I've got to integrate into the shows that are kind of fun. They're kind of fun. They're all fun. It's really neat when you guys make stuff for use on the shows. So thank you, Grumpy Owl. I've been meaning to do that forever, but it was one of those things that just never happened. And she reached out to me and said, hey, is there something I can make for the show? I'm like, yes, please. So she did that. Isn't that awesome? I wonder if Sasquatch makes geocaches of a sort too. I don't know, maybe, but I'll bet you they're probably under boulders or something that we can't lift. So, oh, that is new. Yeah, RJ, you just blink around here, and new things show up. Yeah, I'm always adding little decorations to the studio too, but sometimes I wonder if anybody sees them. It's kind of busy back here in the back. You know, there's so much going on, but there's new things up there all the time, whether you see it or not. Of course, the old man is over here now. He's my little Halloween butler. He's got a little bowl of candy and motion activated if he had batteries. And he'd be like, oh. And he says, like, you know, jokey things that are kind of creepy. So, hey, brother audio. What's wrong with the audio? What's wrong with the audio, wizard? Oh, I thought you meant my audio. Is there somebody named Audio in here? Audio. I'm listening. Welcome, Audio. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Sorry, I'm just rambling tonight. Again, I'm a little punchy because it's been 2 nights without enough sleep. Brent, I was in Italy for the past couple of weeks. Wow. How was Italy? That's pretty amazing. Weather. It's beautiful weather here. Minion and I did go out and watch the Northern Lights last night. We could see them a little bit. There's a little bit of light pollution here where we live, but we were still able to make out the clear skies and stuff. I was thinking of bringing out the night vision binoculars tonight to see if I saw anything. But, yeah, the ghost box says weather. Weather is fine. Thank you for asking. I don't know. Does that mean something to you guys? Thanks, Rachel. Gets it right. All right, here we go. Let's get to the cryptids. Hey, Brent, you remember me, right? Mississippi River. Oh, yeah, Audio. I remember you, brother. I wondered what happened to you, but it's good to see you showing up. Thank you, brother. Of course I remember you. You did that amazing kayak trek down the Illinois River. I think. Was it the Illinois? Down to the Mississippi. And you made it down. You got a cat, right? How's the cat, by the way? Let us know. Yeah, it is. Yep, it is. Yeah, sorry. I probably didn't give you a very good greeting there. It's my head going 15 directions. Larry Portal? Who's Larry Portal? Larry Portal? You're Larry Portal? Your last, what? I don't know. Anyway, let's get to the cryptids, folks. All right, here we go. Let me know about the cat, though. I hope that's worked out good. That's me. All right. We're going to get to phantoms and monsters here and dive into some reports of the Fouke monster. Supposed Fouke monster had multiple encounters with Arkansas siblings. And again, Phantoms and Monsters is a great site if you're into the paranormal, into the 40 topics. Check it out. Thousands of encounter stories over here. And Lon's published works, then research efforts he has with other researchers across the United States. Looking into the strange phenomena like their cryptids and ghosts and UFO stuff. So definitely check it out. And you can find information about Lon's podcast, which is Phantoms and Monsters Radio, which is on YouTube. So check it out. Lon live streams out there and discusses a lot of these articles as well. So getting it right from the guy who wrote them. That's pretty awesome. So definitely support Lon and what he's doing. Here we go. The supposed Fouke monster entered a house and gently patted a boy and his siblings nightly while they were enduring horrible abuse in life. Oh, God. Around 1949 to 1950. So the Fouke monster would come in and like tuck in the kids. Wow. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I mean, it sounds sweet. It sounds like a beautiful gesture, but let's read what it says. The following account was forwarded to me. My father's a couple of months out from turning 80, and he was just had to go to a nursing home after being in my care since 2019. I've been thinking about him and his life and wanted to share this story that comes out of Fouke, Arkansas. The Fouke monster has a long history of sightings. If you want the full story, aside from my father's, do a little search and you'll find a lot. The sightings began before the term Bigfoot was really coined and recognized, and it is essentially Bigfoot. Since my father's story occurred in 1949 to 1950, it may be one of the earliest accounts of the Fouke monster ever, maybe even the first, though I haven't researched it enough to say for sure. Living deep in the woods of Fouke, my father and his siblings experienced the Fouke monster on more than one occasion in a very strange way. My father is a quiet, humble, and honest man, not an attention seeker and a man of few words. If this was a tall tale, it's the only one he ever told. If he's ever lied at all, I can't recall it. I remember a bit of debate between him and my mother before even allowing the story to be told to us, just due to it being unexplainable and frightening. My father also lived a horrible childhood that is part of this story, including physical and sexual abuse. Oh, God. Starving and never owning a pair of underwear or a toothbrush until he was 13. Ran away and started patching tires to build those things for himself. Once when the kids complained they were starving, their father fried a bar of soap and forced them all to take a bite while laughing. Oh, God, what a monster. Their father, I do not call him grandfather because I never knew him, thank you, Dad, once killed a migrant farm worker in front of the family and forced the kids to clean the blood out of his car after dumping the body in the Red River. His father is in a drunken rage, once made the kids get out of the car and run in front of it at night, saying he would run them over if any of them stopped. And he would have. My father never returned home after age 13 and made a good life for himself and our family. We owe him a lot for completely breaking the cycle of abuse. He was a good, moral man. Just a month ago, ridden with dementia, he told me it still makes him cry to this day what his father put him through. Oh, God. You know, you can hardly wrap your head around it. I do have to say, and many of you may know this about my history, but I worked for a lot of years in corrections, specifically juvenile corrections. And I heard stories like this. And it's still, I loved the job, but it really kind of stains your soul if you have any empathy at all to hear stories like this that people live through and seeing and working with the result of that. And I don't mean to say these kids are a thing. They were amazing in that they were as together as they were, considering the hell that they lived through. Some of them came from wonderful families and still managed to just go a horrible direction, but some of them never had a chance at all. And it really, to this day, I still have scars on my soul just from hearing these stories and seeing these pained children, you know, and trying to give them something, you know, trying to give them some hope, direction, a way to build a life, you know, some encouragement, enthusiasm, care, you know, all those things that they'd never gotten. And some of them turned around and did amazing. and others of them didn't. And you can hardly blame them, because they didn't have a shot. They never had a shot. And it's great to hear that this guy took off, did the one thing he could to save himself, which was to leave and just build a life. So God bless that man. All right. Yeah, I bet you that would just be horrible. During the worst of the worst, the family became aware. Two of them. Briefly. There was one here next to me. And then there was another one in the corner, apparently. Behind me over here. So they were here for a moment. Always seems to be two. Most commonly it's two. I don't know if it's the same one stopping in from time to time or if it's different ones. I don't know. If it is ones at all, again, we can't be sure that the ghost radar is absolutely paranormal, but it's definitely some weird fluctuations. So, especially when it makes the hissing noise. That's when it's really powerful, apparently. All right. During this time, my father... Okay. During his worst of the worst, the family became aware of something in the woods near their house. Dogs going wild, weird bumps in the night, just eerie things, but eerie enough to make his mother occasionally sit at the window at night with the shotgun. Once their bloodhound reared up in the window and she mistakenly shot him, believing that whatever was in the woods had finally come up to the house. During this time, my father was about 6 to 7 years old and sharing a bed with his older siblings. Well, they began having night visits of something none of them could explain. Keep in mind that Bigfoot was not a term yet, and the Fouke monster sightings were only documented many years after this. And this is how my father describes it. I won't jazz it up. They would hear the screen door to the house open, no AC, all windows and doors open with just screens, and heavy, heavy footsteps coming down the hall. The kids, frightened and knowing their parents were asleep, would pull the sheet over their heads and would only barely peek out. When my dad peeked out, he saw a huge, hulking figure, taller than his father and taller than any man, just standing at the bedside. Then my father felt a huge hand, so big that the palm covered his entire chest, with fingers extending over the side, patting him gently over the sheet. After patting him a couple of times, the hand slid over and patted his sister, and then brother the same way. As the hand moved over to his sister and brother, he described hair as long as a woman's hair dragging across him, dangling from the arm. The heavy footsteps would then retreat back out of the house. This repeated multiple nights throughout one summer before my terrible grandfather moved the family to New Mexico. And that's where the encounter ends. My dad ran away at 13 from New Mexico and hitchhiked to East Texas and married my mom at 15. When they were in their 20s, stories of the Fouke monster began to circulate in newspapers, and my mom and dad were shocked. Although I can't name the specific farm property without potentially putting my family's identity, the family that lived on the property after they moved to New Mexico, reported that the Fouke monster had come onto their front porch and ripped the screen door off. Make of that what you will. Maybe they locked it. My father never wanted his story to be told, never contacted the papers, and never told anyone outside of a few trusted family members. He doesn't want to be called crazy, and he also doesn't want his abuse stories that coincide with the encounter to be widely known. Once we begged him to ask my aunt about it, and he did when she visited. Her reaction was strange, to say the least. She instantly turned bright red, huffed and puffed, and said, "I don't think we should talk about that." Well, he didn't push it, and it was never mentioned to her or by her again. I can ask my dad's brother about it because he turned out to be an abuser of his own children exactly like his father. I can't, he said, I can't ask my dad's brother about it. I've never met him and never will. Thank you again, Dad, for protecting us from the things you went through. When my mother deemed it was okay to tell us this story, my brother and I were teenagers. And it scared us so bad that my mom had to sleep with me and my dad with my brother. My dad, half asleep in the middle of the night, reached over to pat my brother and make sure he was still in bed. My brother, fresh from the Bigfoot story, woke up to being patted and screamed. Yeah, I'll bet he did. It's like, no, it's here. Yeah, that's got to be frightening, but it seems like such a sweet thing, you know? Those are the beautiful stories, I guess. Huh. Absolutely weird. Interesting story, though. I mean, do you think the Falk monster was aware of all the crappy things the dad was doing? Do you think Bigfoot are probably good parents, doting parents, or do you think they're more animalistic? I don't know. But it obviously knew that these kids were being treated like crap. Mom, your hairstyle looks like the long hair of Sasquatch arms. I guess it's better than the pit hair. Hairy arms. That's a long, luscious, beautiful locks. All right. Well, there you go. That's the Falk monster story. I think that's a good one. That's very interesting. It's a different take, but again, it's one of those endearing Bigfoot stories. Obviously, if it wanted to harm these kids, they were helpless and they were already, so severely mistreated that, I don't know, you feel like they probably didn't have a lot going for them anyway. And well, the way life works, sometimes it's like, well, why not a Bigfoot taking them away? But it just came in and patted them like it was just reassuring, like, hey, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. That's kind of sweet. That's a really kind of a beautiful gesture, really. Here we go. This one's almost, I don't know if this is really cryptid, but it's definitely bizarre. Let's get into this one. I'm not sure what this would look like, but it sounds like, when you watch Hollywood movies and they depict blind people, they're always got the solid white eyes. Like they just have these huge cataract shields over their eyes. And usually it's probably contacts. But at any rate, you always know the blind guy in the movies because he's got the white eyes. Well, here's a story of someone from Phantoms and Monsters. Lon reported, retail clerk alarmed by tall, long blonde-haired, white-eyed man. I don't know. What is a white-eyed man? Did he not have a pupil at all? Let's see what happened. A retail store clerk is stocking items when a white-eyed man with a compassionate voice asks her a question. Well, she's immediately alarmed by the encounter. After some consideration, I have decided to share a strange and brief encounter I had while working at a retail store many, many years ago. This has stuck with me, and I've consistently looked back and wondered if there was more to it. It was an early afternoon in 2011, and I was working at a home retail store. I was kneeling, stocking small kitchen gadgets. From behind, I heard a man ask, "Excuse me, where can I find the napkins?" Well, as soon as I heard his voice, I was immediately transfixed. I've never heard a voice that was so crystal clear and so soothing, with a tone so filled with patience, kindness, and compassion. It was disarming, and I was immediately eager to help. I began to turn around and stand up, and while still in a somewhat crouched position, I tilted my head up to look at him, and then everything changed. There were 3 physical characteristics I remember about this person. First, his eyes appeared white. Second is the height. I only looked for a split second, so I can't be sure, but it seemed like he was the tallest person I'd ever encountered. The third was his hair. It was shoulder length white or very light blonde. It splayed outwards, forming a backdrop for his face, sort of sticking out on the sides and all around, but not in a messy or unkempt way. As soon as I saw his face, especially his eyes, all the positive feelings were immediately replaced with a primal emotion of unjustifiable fear. It was so intense, I couldn't bear to look at him. I immediately turned back around and returned to the kneeling position with my back towards him again. And all I could think when seeing this person was, get away from me. I went from being charmed when I heard his voice to intensely repelled when seeing his face. I was
1,572.
1572. Okay. Someone want to look up 1572? I don't know what that could be relevant about, but it's 1,572. All I could think about when seeing this person was get away from me. I went from being charmed to hearing his voice to intensely repelled when seeing his face. And I was not disgusted, nor did I fear for my safety. I just remember a jolt of adrenaline taking over and feeling an intense need to put as much space between me and this person as possible. It's hard to explain, but it felt like I encountered something I'd never met before, but somehow I knew I wouldn't be harmed. With my back to him, it still confuses me that I exposed my back to a person who had such an intense effect on me. I pointed over my head towards my left and said, "There are 2 aisles that way." The man responded, "But I just want to know where the napkins are." I replied once again, pointing over my head, "There are 2 aisles that way." He asked yet again, but I just want to know where the napkins are. Completely overwhelmed and jittery, I replied the same way a third time. He finally left me alone, and I felt a sense of relief when I no longer heard the man's voice. I thought to myself, what just happened? Around 30 seconds went by as I came to my senses, and a strong sense of guilt overcame me. I was aghast at myself for treating someone so rudely and felt a strong desire to apologize to the man. I stood up from my kneeling position and looked over to the napkin aisle, expecting to see that man towering over everything. He wasn't there. Confused and still feeling guilty, I walked around the entire store, hoping to find this man. I never did. And there really was barely enough time for someone to get out of the store when I started looking for him. I can't communicate clearly enough the emotional roller coaster that started with hearing this man's mellifluous voice. I don't know how to pronounce that word right, but that's the best I could do. Then to the overwhelming anxiety that hit me like a freight train when I made eye contact, to desperately hoping he'd leave me alone, to relief, then guilt, then confusion. I've never met anyone who has elicited such intense emotions from me, let alone all in less than a minute. It was probably just a customer looking for napkins, but boy, has this encounter been seared into my memory. I've considered that I may have been very rude to a blind person, but they didn't have a dog and didn't notice a cane. It also seems it would have taken a blind person longer to leave the store. Also, I can't describe what he was wearing or how old he was, although I'm pretty sure he was at least in his 30s or early 40s. I wonder if you've ever heard of anyone who has seen someone with similar physical traits or has experienced anything similar that can hopefully provide some sort of insight into this encounter. Yeah, that's a strange one. Again, what is it? Is that some kind of spiritual visitation by something really malevolent? I gotta admit, I was thinking like, well, maybe it's the devil, because by all accounts, if you follow the biblical story of the origin of Satan, he was the Prince of Light. He was the one of the most beautiful angels, and so the angels are often, when they're witnessed, are seen as very tall, commanding presences. I don't know. The whole white eye thing, I don't know. That's very strange. Very, very strange. But maybe that's the visceral reaction, was being that close to intense evil like that. Like it was melodic with its tone, the morning star, right? Maybe. I mean, who knows? I don't mean to get all, biblical about it, but what if? Maybe that was an encounter with something other than an angel. And then to have it just disappear and repeat the same question. Where's the napkins? I just want to know where the napkins are. But I just want to know where they are. It's like, I'm pointing right over there. Well, he's got white eyes. Maybe he couldn't see. I don't know. Just some thoughts. Rivers turning red, real blood. Yeah, you never know. I mean, I'll tell you what. I do believe that there is some very, very, very powerful evil forces out there. I really do. I think that there are some things out there that would love nothing more than to corrupt anything good and even mediocre. They just want to corrupt. They just want to damage any beauty in this world. And for whatever reason or purpose, I can't begin to imagine. I just don't know. I mean, of course, there's the stories we've all heard, but in any case, whatever the origin or whatever the true purpose of it is, I think those things are out there, and I think sometimes people encounter them. Mostly, I think those encounters are in the form of, dark presences, possibly demonic presences, dealing with a potential or attempted possession or oppression or something, or successful possession. In any case, I think sometimes people just see them. I don't know. You be the judge. I've got a whole host of personal stories of things like that I'm not sure how to even put them into words, but things that I've experienced. It was like, I wonder if I just saw that. I wonder if I experienced that. Oddly enough, some of them were in dreams, and they were hyper real, hyper real. Much like when I met my father in a dream. It was when I was much, much younger. But do we have those points where we might encounter that pure evil, or it might seek us out, and we're challenged by it, and either we succeed or fail? I mean, it might be one of those points. It might be the beginning of an attachment that they appear in dreams. Who knows? But I think they're out there, and I would just advise everyone, be careful. Be careful about things that are out there, and don't challenge the universe. Cheers, Steph. Good night, Steph. Steph, I gotta go. Y'all have fun. Oh, thanks for stopping in, Steph. Thanks so much for being here. It's loads of dead bodies below, hidden away from the last reset. Darren says, wow, I missed a lot in chat. 1572, Justin Gooder says, my search was an FDA form for clinical trials related to cancer. Oh, yikes. Okay. Thank you for looking into that, man. I mean, who knows? Who knows? I mean, we could someday have the cure for such things. God only, knows. We all wish we did, but 1570 to 77, Philip Blair says, Francisco Hernandez. Expedition, Hernandez set sail for the New World, August 1571, taking along his son, and landed in February 1572 in Veracruz. Huh. There's melted cities below you. Could be. I've often wondered what was here before all of us, I mean, a lot of parts of the world have these real long, robust histories. And of course, the First Nations were here for thousands of years. But what was here before them? There's, apparently pyramids around here. Oh, tentacles don't work. Tentacles don't work. Then a little person with stand on your chest naked doing the helicopter. If you don't hit the like button. Oh, dear God. Yeah, you don't want that. You should probably just hit the like before you leave, because you don't want what RJ talked about. 1572 bottles of beers on the wall. Yeah, good luck singing that one. I'm going to have to miss the ending of that song. RJ, now hit the like with all my channels. That's right. Hit all the likes you can manage. Thanks. SoCal said I hit the like button twice, RJ. That's not good. No, I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Well, I'll tell you what, that's been the journey. Hope you guys had a good time. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys keeping me company yet again as another adventure in the Paranormal Portal happened. I love doing these shows, and I love that you guys show up and hang out and are a part of the journey. Sorry for all my soapboxing tonight. I think I ended up blabbing a lot, but it was an amazing show, John says. Well, thank you. That's encouraging. I'm glad to hear that, because I get done with these shows sometimes like, I should shut up and just read more. Sometimes I do think that, but, I just see opportunities to share. And happy Mother's Day to Mrs. Portal. Thank you, Princess Lion. I will tell her you said that. The Minion's got a surprise he made in school for her, so he's dying to give it to her. I had to hide it in the studio here, so we'll have to whip that out tomorrow morning and see how that works. I don't even know what it is for sure. He didn't really show me, but it's for Mom. So great show as always, David says. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. Thank you, Grantardo. My name is Brent, B-R-E-N-T, but close enough. I'll tell you, I've been called Brett my whole life. And the funny thing is, I was interviewing Brett Eichenberger of the Flash of Beauty, and he and I have come to know each other through the years at different conferences and stuff. But he said, we were talking before the interview, and I was like, God, I've been called Brett my whole life. He said, really? I've been called Brent my whole life. So it's funny. His name is Brett. He's called Brent. My name is Brent. And I'm called Brett. It's okay. I mean, it's just a common mistake, but it's just kind of humorous. Good show, Brent. Thank you, Cool Hand. I appreciate it. I was late, that is. It's okay, SoCal. I'm just glad you're here when you can be. I know life happens, and I again want to wish you all a happy Mother's Day. If you can, if you have the ability to, go out and spend time with your mom. Give her a call. Let her know you love her. And if you can't, if your mom's passed on, then send her all the love, because I know she's with you. And she'll be just a thought away. And as soon as you send her that love, you're going to feel it bounce right back at you. And that's the love returning. Portal Mom, love you. Good night, honey. Good night. Thanks, John LaBelle. Yeah, thank you all for being so kind to my mom. She loves coming in and watching the shows. No, don't worry, Grantardo. It just made me think about it. I think it's fine. Like I said, I've been called Brett my whole life, so it doesn't bother me. It's an interesting thing that comes up. But yeah, give your mom love wherever she is, here or beyond. They're still with us. We're not ever without them. That love continues, and it continues to envelop and surround you. And trust that. So. That's all I got for you guys. I'm about out of gas. I'm sitting here. I'm kind of a sweaty mess. It's really hot here in the studio tonight. Heading towards that summer heat. Got to 76 today or something like that, which isn't really hot, but the sun was really warm. I had one weird thing happen though. So before we left to go mushroom hunting, there's no wind here today at all. And I had been sitting outside with Mrs. Portal, on the patio furniture, and we got one of those umbrellas, and you turn it, it has the hinge, so you can angle it and block the sun, because that umbrella sits really high. But it was just open, and I thought, well, there's no wind, it'll be fine. It's in the backyard, so it's not getting like there's a field or anything. There's all kinds of wind breaks around, so it takes a lot to get a good wind in the backyard. So we left, and we're gone maybe just a couple hours. We looked around, didn't find any mushrooms, and came right back. Well, we did go to Walmart. That's Walmart in my language. It's Walmart. But we went to Walmart and then came home. When I got home, that table was flipped on its side, and the umbrella was absolutely upside down and broken in the lawn. And I have no idea how that flipped around. We got a full fence around the backyard. I'm sure nobody was in our backyard and decided to flip my table. But it was laying down, knocked two of the chairs down. The umbrella was actually out of the middle of the table, and the weighted stand underneath and on its top, and one of the poles was broke. I have no idea how that happened. So 1572 was about fighting about religion in France. Yeah. So that was a weird thing that happened today. Was it paranormal? Nah, probably not. I just don't know how the hell my table got flipped over. It got flipped over on its side. I mean, there was a tackle box and fishing stuff on there. and it was weighting it down, but it was still on its side. The umbrella was actually out of the table, like it goes down through the middle into the weighted stand. It was out of there and laying, and it actually broke one of the spindles that hold the umbrella open. So MIB tossed the yard. Yeah, you never know. There's nothing to see there. I don't know, maybe some dog poop or something, but try to clean that up too. I'm just saying. But anyway, weird. Whatever it was, gust of wind flipped the table. Yeah, but it's been real calm. There's been no wind. Just a very slight breeze all day long. It's been very still. So I don't know. I'm literally puzzled. It's one of those things. Now I will say, I left the umbrella tilted, so it is possible that even with a light wind, it would have been enough. But again, there was a big tackle box on the table holding it down, and the umbrella was in a weighted stand. It's one of those stands that's full of water. You know, you fill it up with water, and it weighs about 50 pounds. I don't know how it happened, but it's just kind of pissed me off because it's like, oh, now I got to fix that. Now I got to get another one of those. So, yeah. Anyway, it's a curiosity. I just thought I'd throw it out there because weirdness. One other weirdness thing happened lately, which is odd, but nothing extraordinary, just weird. I finished the show last Saturday. Been in and out of the studio. Sunday and then Monday. And I came in on Monday after I woke up, and this dragon light was on here. This dragon sconce right behind my head, that one was on. Now, I know I shut it off on Saturday and after the shows, so I have no idea how that turned on. Now, they have a slide switch on them. There's no remotes on them or anything like that. They have a slide switch, but only that one was on. Very strange. Weird things happen here. That's all I can say. They always have, though. There's lots of ghost stories in this house. This house definitely has some activity, but that's just the latest things that have popped up. Are they paranormal? Maybe not. Maybe not at all. Maybe somehow, I don't know how, because I'm the only one in the studio, but maybe somehow it got bumped or something. Maybe. I don't know. But weird stuff. Time to clear the house. You might be right, Annie. Might be time. It's been a while since I've done a full cleansing, so probably couldn't hurt. All right, well, that's all I got time for. I'm sweaty. Got the Goonie shirt on, hey? All right, have a happy Mother's Day. Love you guys. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Spend time with your mom. Send her your love. Tell her thank you. And find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Good night, everybody. That's it. The show's over. Take care of yourselves.